I might give him another shot because he's been here 10 minutes, and I might not. It depends on how big of a joke he thinks I am.
Again with the joke. Man, don't be a joke. It's a dog. A trainer on this popular YouTube channel, Beckman's Dog Training, is saying that this dog is being defiant. So before we go ahead and watch the video, let's first understand what defiance actually means. So of course, defiance is the act of defying. Dog, it's a bold resistance to an opposing force or authority. It's intentionally contemptuous behavior or attitude, readiness to contend or resist. It's putting in opposition or provoking a combat, a challenge, a provocation, a summons to combat. So going with the definition of defiance and what Beckman thinks about this dog, he thinks that this dog is trying to combat him or trying to resist his authority. And sadly, that's something that's actually pretty common in dog trainers that work in these methods, that they think that the dog is always trying to be the alpha or always trying to resist their authority, and the only way to train the dog is by showing him who's the boss. So let's take a look at the video.
This dog just got to our facility. He thinks it's a big game to not come. We're trying to get him in the office. Let's go in. I want to show you guys what he's doing. Jet!
Okay, let's pause for a second. We didn't even see the dog, but what he's saying is that he thinks that the dog is acting or the dog is behaving like this is all a big game for him. And you know what? It's exactly right. It is a big game for the dog. He's not defying anyone. He's being playful.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. He knows the game, right? He's saying, this is what my mommy does. She tries to get me, and then I run away like it's a big game. I'm going to go through the process.
Yes, that's exactly what the dog is doing. The dog is being playful. He's running because it's a big game. And that's, by the way, is one of the reasons that if your dog is running away, you should probably not chase him, because there's a good chance that if you do chase him, he's going to think about it as a game and run away even more. He's also saying that this is how his mom is treating him. So basically, this behavior was already reinforced by how the owner, the mother, is acting.
This is not a straight up recall. This is not just a coming video. That is not the key. This is get rid of the game, then get the recall 10 minutes down the road, a week down the road. Get rid of the game first. You don't get the recall if you don't get rid of the game.
So yeah, I have to kind of agree with it. Basically, as long as the dog is being playful, it's really hard to get the dog to come to you, right? Because he's thinking it's a game. So what you want to do is maybe make that playful behavior go extinct before you actually start working on the recalling. But having said that, many times you actually can combine those two things, and I'll explain a bit later.
And we're getting rid of the game right now. Not in a mean way, but in a, we are not to be completely played with. We're not jokes. When we say come, we mean what we say. When you ask your kids something, you'd like them to do it within a reasonable period of time.
We're not jokes. We're not to be played with. Do you really think that your dog has the mental capacity to think in that manner, to think that I might think so, not the dog? And I don't mean that I think that this trainer is a joke. Or do I?
Look at, he knows I can't get him. And look at this. It's the funnest thing in the world to this guy. Look at this. This is a lot of dogs. There's pure joy in the game, which a lot of you ask in the comments, how do you deal with this? I'm going to show you how you deal with it right now.
Yeah, it's pure joy. I love saying this. I wish all of us would have the ability to have this like big yard or like field or farm or something where we can let our dog just run loose and enjoy, right? Because if the dog is not enjoying his life, then why even put them through it? And by the way, this is great. This is enrichment. This is exercise. And then once the dog kind of like ran around and used all of his energy up, then it's also a lot easier to work on training because your dog is not so hyper.
Right now, okay? I'm gonna give him a very clear cue. I'm gonna say come, and I'm gonna give him a place to go, as I call it. It's often been trained with treats by the owners or by me. Let's assume at 3 years old, he knows what this word means. You have to have trained the behavior before you do this go-get method, okay? And I don't think he's gonna come. Here we go. Jet, come! And we're over it. We're done. Let's go, Laura. I might give him another shot because he's been here 10 minutes, and I might not. It depends on how big of a joke he thinks I am.
Again with a joke. Man, don't be a joke. It's a dog. The only thing that he's thinking is that, wow, this is a great place to be around. You're playing with me. Awesome, I love my life.
And many of you call me and you go, well, I have canyons. I can't get my dog. I'm going to get this guy, and you're going to watch me get it, and you're going to watch me struggle. And I'm not going to beg him, and I'm not going to go get treats.
He's not going to beg him, and he's not going to get treats. So you're saying that giving a dog treats is like begging? You used the kids and dogs comparison earlier. So giving your kids gifts or giving anyone a gift is begging? No, it's not begging, it's rewarding. That's a whole different thing.
Sit. Sit.
Seriously. You really thought that was going to work?
Look at his body language. Sit. Good boy. Not a great boy. He is not a great boy, but did not do the worst thing in the world.
No, don't accidentally let this go up to his head by saying that he's a great boy and not just a good boy. Man.
He saw my body language change a little bit. His body language then changed. And we are going to see if he thinks it's a big game again. I doubt he's going to come to me, but we're going to see if he thinks it's a big game. All we got to do is lessen the game. Then eventually the recall happens.
I still don't understand how you're actually making it be less of a game. Because you did follow the dog. You did kind of like chase him around. You just didn't run after him, but you still walked to him slowly and kind of like made him stop. And then you rewarded the dog when you came to him, not when he came to you. So you're still kind of like teaching the dog that you're following him and not the other way around.
Okay, so what was my choice of consequence? He let me get to him and he could have ran away, and he didn't run away. So I still grabbed him with a little bit of something to it where he said, oh, this guy's not my mom.
So what you're saying that you grabbed him in a more aggressive way than his mom did, and for what reason? Just to show him that you're the boss? Because I would think that if someone did something that I wanted them to do, instead of being even harder on them, I'll actually say, oh, good job. Thank you for doing what I asked you to do. Now I actually don't need to use any force because it seems like you're learning. But if I do the opposite, if I chase my dog, and the second that the dog actually stops and I'm able to get to him, I punish him or I scare him by kind of like being aggressive or aversive to him, then what is the dog going to learn? That every time that this guy is going to approach me, he's actually going to be mean to me. Do you understand what's the disconnect here? You want to reward the dog for the good behavior. You don't want to accidentally do something that will scare your dog or will make him even more unhappy and more unlikely to follow your cue or to stop or to even let you approach it.
but there was no real consequence. There's really no reinforcement. There was really no punishment, right? The petting is not that reinforcing. The grab is not that punishing.
The petting can be really reinforcing. It really depends on the dog. Aversive trainers that keep saying that, oh, you need to use treats all the time, you need to use treats all the time, that just shows that they don't understand anything about reward-based training. Petting can be rewarding. Playing with your dog can be rewarding. Grabbing your dog hard can be punishing. It really depends on the dog. And I have to say that in this case, it seems like petting is definitely rewarding.
Jet's a good boy. Jet's a good boy. Jet's the best boy. Oh my goodness. Now, there was a 3-foot come to me, of which I tried earlier and couldn't get. So he gets, that's a good boy. He gets the talking, he gets all the stuff. Okay, go nuts. Go nuts.
So first is actually petting the dog again as a reward, right? Because the dog came to him. So didn't you just say that the petting is not actually a reward? You're even using it as a reward. Secondly, that 3 feet that your dog didn't cross earlier is not the same situation as it was before. Before, you were inside and the dog was outside. What you need to show us on the dog's behavior change, that magical behavior change in less than 6 minutes, is how the dog follows you or walks into the house itself, into your office.
All right, oh, let's see. Now, again, this isn't a recall. This is getting rid of the game. Let's see if maybe... Let's see if we can get a recall. Jet, come. Good boy. That's our best boy. That's our best.
First, it's good that now the dog is a best boy, not just a good boy, and he is, again, rewarding him by petting him. But what you can see that actually changed is the dog's motivation. Dog is not running around like crazy, is not having those zoomies all over the backyard. Why? I actually don't think it's because of anything that this guy did. I think it's more likely because, you know, you let the dog have some outlet and use up some of his energy, and now the dog is not that much into just running. So yes, the play did go down, but I don't think it had anything to do with the fact that the only thing that he basically did was to follow him, was to chase him, and then hold him and pet him.
Best boy, where do treats involve themselves in this? They don't. For the recall, they might. This wasn't a recall video. This was getting rid of the go-get game that your dog thinks is the single greatest thing in the history of the world, which he did. Then the pursuit happened. He kind of probably said, this guy will come get me. He's like, this guy's on a hill with rocks.
I'm amazed, but again, I have to kind of agree with him. The fact that he wasn't using treats is fine. He's rewarding the dog by petting him. You want to create some sort of scale of treats, of rewards. You don't want to use the most high-level rewards all the time. You want to use them for the kind of like the more complicated things. So yes, I would probably also use those high-value rewards for recalling, and maybe I wouldn't use them for something like that. I would also just maybe pat the dog when he's being calm and when he's actively coming to me, and only the treats when I'm working on recalling from a longer distance. As for whatever he just did here, did it work or it didn't? Well, I don't know, because he started by showing us how the dog stays outside when he's inside the office, but he never showed us if that changed. So what do you think? Did it change? Write down in the comments below. And if you like this video, why not try this video as well?